Hello everyone, welcome to Res Snapper. My name's MJ and this is Snap or Pass, a series where we look at the brand new cards coming to Marvel Snap each week. And this week, we've got some Series 4 cards entering seasonal Series 4 Snap Packs. And one of them is Red Shift. He's a 2/3. On reveal, discard the leftmost card in your hand to add a random card with the same cost to your hand. In this video, we're going to be talking about some deck ideas for you, count as synergies. I'll say what I like about him, what I dislike, the mechanics. I'll give him star ratings. You can actually just go to the section that you want using the chapters below, but True Legends stay until the end. We try to inject some fun into these videos, and who knows, there might be some zany and crazy moments. Also, I have not forgotten this episode. Last episode when we looked at Stardust, I did forget to look in the Marvel Encyclopedia, so I've got it this time. Apologies. Anyway, right, Red Shift, right, so you can get them in seasonal Series 4 Snap Packs, which contains not only the cards from this season, which is also Terax, who will be our next video on the channel, but you could also get the Series 4 cards from last month, which is, I think it's just Fantastica actually, and then it is the seasonal Series 4 cards from the previous season, which is like Nicholas Scratch, Jennifer Kell, Mercury, Hellion. I actually think this is a nice little roster, so I think this is generally quite a good time to open seasonal Series 4 Snap Packs. Mercury's good, Hellion I think is great and underplayed, Fantastica is obviously broken, and yeah, Terax, well I guess we'll talk about Terax tomorrow. I can't give all the secrets away. Yeah, good, okay. Fine. Let's talk about the Marvel Encyclopedia, because I obviously in that intro I sort of bigged it up, didn't I? I was like, yeah, I remembered it in that. Red Shift ain't in there, so that's good. That is the level of character obscurity that we are dealing with. A book that I struggle to even lift because it is so heavy. It was £30 to purchase this item, and it is, as you can see, well in excess of 30 plus pages, well in excess. So I've had to Google it, guys. I asked Google AI to sum it up as succinctly as possible, right? So I haven't read this yet either. Red Shift is an extraterrestrial supervillain in Marvel Comics who served as a Herald of Galactus. He possesses the power cosmic, which grants him abilities such as super strength, durability, brilliant, pills can't hurt him. Paracetamol doesn't touch the sides, and the ability to fly, at incredibly fast speeds. That's cool. He also wields 2 swords. Well, I can do that, and I don't have power cosmic. That can be used to open dimensional rifts and portals. I can't do that, to be fair. Which he can use for both travel and offense. So people are offended by his wielding of those. His most notable enemy is the Silver Surfer, who he has fought on multiple occasions. Their most significant conflict occurred when Red Shift, serving as Herald of Galactus, was sent to prepare Earth for consumption. The Silver Surfer battled him, ultimately trapping him in a black hole. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Like I do consider myself, to be pretty damn knowledgeable on Marvel. There was a period where I was reading like 25 to 30-ish Marvel comics a month. So I was keeping pretty well updated on the universe. That was probably for about 5 to 10 years that I did that. And I have read them since I was like 14 or something. So I've kept my finger on the pulse. And I've never come across this guy. Although, actually, I understand he was actually in Annihilation. And I did read Annihilation. And I don't remember him. So clearly he didn't leave an impact. Right, before we talk about the mechanics of the card, I'm sure that those of you that wanted to check out the mechanics have well already got sick of my banter and have skipped. But hey, I've got a giveaway for all you people who are still with us. You do need to subscribe to the channel. You need to like this video, and then please leave a comment answering. It is another design question, so don't worry, people who don't like thinking about designing cards. We have got some giveaways coming up for you soon, and I'll do multiple giveaways, as in you can win multiple. Anyway. Design the perfect free cost card that could be played after Red Shift. So for example, maybe it's something like 3/5, return a discarded card to your hand and give it plus 10 power. Obviously wouldn't be that, but yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the mechanics of the card finally. I think the archetypes that he's going to fit into are going to be pretty limited because he is a very specific, a very niche card. And I actually really like that we're seeing incredibly niche cards. It means that you are, you know, in some decks where you might have played something like, for example, in this example of Red Shift, you might have played a Colleen in a shield deck if you wanted like a cheap discard and something in that slot, whereas now in a shield style discard deck you'd now play this guy instead. So I like these very niche elements. So I think the archetypes are going to be shield, like obviously a discard leaning shield, which would be like a Helicarrier style deck. I think Hela might like this guy. Not only does it discard something reliable that you know what it's going to discard, but it's also a cheap card to get out earlier in those decks, and crucially you're also generating some kind of resource in its place, which sometimes there are gaps in the Hela game strategy where there are turns where you're not playing anything, so maybe Redshift might help to fill that gap in a little bit. And then of course discard, just as a normal discard card, I think he'll have his spot. So it's another reliable discard card targeting the leftmost card and replacing it. So you are generating resource, but you are also building towards your discard strategy. So that's cool. It's another cheap discarding card. Is there enough for a sub-archetype? We might actually look at one of my decks later on, which has got the likes of the first Ghost Rider and Colleen Wing and maybe Blade. All of these cards that are very cheap, they discard things. That could be a cool little deck. And it is quite a specific ability, but might be generically useful in normal discard too, and creativity might be rewarded here. What can you do with Red Shift, especially like this element of his ability, which is targeting the leftmost card? So we start thinking about Agatha, for one thing. She's on the left, isn't she? So you could do stuff like, rare mole moment. The mole moment, sorry, that's probably not very clear what happened there. Basically, I think when I take my glass off, I personally think I look like a mole or some sort of like dirt foraging animal. Like, you can't, or like a toad or something. I think I look like a woodland creature from the swamp. And that's fine. I think this is like not ugly. And if you disagree, don't let me know. In the comments below. Just don't do that. I don't need that imprinting on my self-esteem. Cheers. Pros. Targeted effects are powerful and give good reliability. We have seen this before so many times. Like when it's random, sometimes things are literally they are submitted to the unplayable category and they win that category of being unplayable. But when it is targeted, we know what we're dealing with, and you can plan ahead. And replacing the card with a new random card can give unpredictability and something else to play. Your opponent doesn't know what that card might be. We see one of the higher points, one of the good points about Agent Coulson is that he adds 2 random things to your hand. Oftentimes that could be a claw or something, and those are the types of cards that when you insert them into decks and your opponent doesn't know what you're going to play, they can give you an advantage. So that could be a consideration with this guy. As for the cons, this is a very long sentence. I shall read it. That is what I do on this channel. I sort of write things in advance and then I read them out loud, don't I? Good. Or do you read them along as well? Do you read okay, here's a question for the comments as well, right? Do you read the things that are on screen before I say them, or do you read them along with me, like either to see if I make any mistakes or... Anyway, cons. I'm not sure he has a big downside. He does what he does. You're only going to play him in some kind of deck which benefits from either discarding or adding to your hand. I guess a really important card for your deck could be in the leftmost position, but sometimes I guess that's potentially a downside, but then I guess you just wouldn't play Redshift in that situation. Alright, how would you counter Redshift? Gorgon can increase the cost of the card that he generates. Fenris Wolf can steal something that you've discarded. That could be an Agatha. And Cosmo is just going to stop Redshift from triggering, although I would like to think that in many situations you'll be playing Redshift on curve and you'll be clear of Cosmo. The synergies of the card I think that are really interesting is certainly Black Knight. I think the Black Knight Agatha thing is going to be an interesting one to try and get going. Morgan Le Fay, I'd love to get Morgan Le Fay to work. We'll have a look at the deck very shortly. I'm trying to... Actually, hang on a second. I need to shout out Discord, actually. I'm really sorry, I can't remember who said, but yeah, I was basically asked Discord what they thought of this card, and someone did suggest Morgan Le Fay, and so I've run with that actually. So I need to. I'm miscrediting myself with this idea. This was from Reddit, although I do agree with it, and I ran with it because I was like, yeah, Morgan Le Fay, I still want her to work. She's actually one of the cards I've experimented with the most, trying to get her to work, but I haven't done much discard stuff with her. So that is going to be my next point of call. And of course, Helicarrier, we're really going to like. There is an interesting anti-synergy between Redshift and Helicarrier though. If Helicarrier is the leftmost card in your hand, when you discard it, you're not then going to add a 6-cost card to your hand from Redshift's ability, because your hand will now be full from Helicarrier adding random cards to your hand. However, I would actually say that you wouldn't necessarily want that 6-cost card in that situation anyway. You'll just take the random stuff that Helicarrier does. You're sort of getting the same benefit as Redshift's power in a way. So those decks for you. I've only got 2 this time. First one is a modest deck as well. Not a budget deck, I'm afraid, guys. I couldn't quite squeeze this deck down to have only 1 Series 5 card. And let's bear in mind as well, Redshift is Series 4, so even he doesn't count. But anyway, this is like a cheap discards deck. So I have got Collector here because we may be adding stuff back into our hand. We have got the other cheap discarders. So we've got Colleen Wing and Ghost Rider and Blade. We have got also, because we've kind of got a lowish curve here, we've got quite a lot of 1-cost cards. And we have got Swarm in here as well. So we've got Bullseye. We have got another method to discard everything from our hand in Modok, and we've also got Ghost Rider to be able to, maybe if we hit the wrong thing, like if we do discard our Bullseye or our Modok, we can actually bring it back with Ghost Rider. Our returners to handers include Swarm and Scorn, so that's the little collector synergy there. Hopefully we're able to do it multiple times. We've got Meek to scale, we've got Morbius to scale, we've got Collector to scale. So yeah. And of course, this is not forgetting that hopefully Redshift will actually generate something as well. And Swarm hopefully will become playable. Like you can play some copies, or you just bullseye them at the end of the game. Yeah, interesting. Just interesting. Hopefully you can just get enough out that you are able to scale and do just enough. This is a modest deck though, and yeah, probably not the best place to go for Redshift. Something more fun. I think this will be more fun Le Fay, if you will. Allow me to say that. What a dickhead. What a dickhead. This is a shield and discard deck. So we have got, again, we've got Collector in here. We've got Corvus Glaive, who I do like in the shield discard decks. We've got Hood. Yeah, correct. Quinjet, we got Blade, we have got obviously the Redshift, it is a Redshift deck. We got Victoria Hand, because hopefully we are generating enough cards to benefit from this. With Hawkeye, we've got Helicarrier, hopefully we can hit that. We have got a few different targeted discards in here, like Blade and Redshift. And even Corvus Glaive just providing a lot of coverage into the hand. So Helicarrier feels pretty reasonably easy to achieve a discard on. Even if he's Helicarrier is not on the left side of your deck. You've got enough cheap cards here that you can play them out, and hopefully Helicarrier can just siphon into the left side of your deck, and then you can Redshift it. And you've got the Morgan Le Fay in here as well, because you could just be discarding random stuff. You could discard a Hawkeye Kate Bishop, right? Bring her back with Morgan Le Fay, play her on turn 5, and then you might have a potentially explosive ending with Victoria Hand on the final turn of the game. Yeah, I just think this will be an interesting one to test out. It is actually another modest deck as well. There's nothing too expensive in here. So, star ratings. I think overall, I think he's good. I give him 3 stars. I think he's actually good. I'm looking forward to playing him. Actually, from a fun perspective, I've given him 3.5 stars. I think discarding, always a fun thing to do. I think it generally is quite a fun mechanic in the game. And adding something to your hand, well, baby, that's my most fun thing in the game. No, stupid accent. Yeah, I love adding random stuff to my hand. If this guy is going to be adding reliable costed stuff, discarding a 3-cost card and then playing it on turn 3, dem OCD. For the archetype, I think he's a good addition to discard. It's another option that excites me. However, from a competitive standpoint, I don't actually expect to see him in the meta really, so I've given him a 2.5 for that. Now that being said, I wouldn't be too surprised. Like I say, I do think he's a good card, so I could see it. Ultimately, though, I do think that he's probably a skip. Even though at the start of the video I did say this is a good time to buy open seasonal Series 4 snap packs. Maybe there's a better time for him. Yeah, maybe there's a better time for him. I don't know. Just because he's just good, probably not good enough to go after, unless he really feeds your niche and the archetypes and styles that you like to play. If he does, then obviously go for him. I personally am actually going to go for him, so I'm going against my own sort of advice here. I am definitely going to get him because I do like discard, I do like shield. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please tune in for the next one, which is Terax the Tamer in the next video. The Terax surely going to be in. Like, Terax is a big character. Terax is definitely going to be in here. So look forward to that, and I'll see you next time.